Amina, we have your CV. We just say a few words, introduction of yourself. If there's anything in your CV that is not there or anything you think you want us to know. But since as I said, this is a familiar terrain for you, you should be able to just tell us as quick as possible those few things. Over to you.
Your Excellency, the Senate President, Your Excellency, the Deputy Senate President, distinguished principal officers of the Senate, distinguished senators from my home state, Jigawa State, my adopted senators from FCT, distinguished senators, good morning or good afternoon to you all. My CV is before you. My name is Amina Zakari, formerly Amina Hussein Adamu. I was educated in Kaduna, Kano, went to Queen's College, Lagos, and I had my degree in ABU. I trained as a pharmacist, began practicing as a pharmacist, and I later became a public servant. I was appointed Special Assistant to Mr. President, General Olusegun Obasanjo, and I was posted to FCT to serve as a secretary, where I served as a secretary for health, social development, and agriculture. I was also appointed INEC Commissioner 2010. But before I close this, I'd like to pay a tribute to my father, an educationist, the late Emir of Kazauri, Alhaji Hussein Adamu, who was a firm believer in girl child education, and through whose efforts, by God's grace, I'm standing here before you. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Mr. President, distinguished senators. My name is Rabi Musa Konkoso, representing Kano Central. Mr. President, over the last few years, we have seen a lot of improvement on the issue of elections in this country, especially those conducted by INEC. Mr. President, I want to ask the nominee, based on her experience in INEC, to please let us know areas that require further improvement, so that by next election we can have even better election than the one we had in 2015. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
That question.
Okay. Distinguished senators, Mr. Senate President, distinguished senators. Well, I've been in INEC from 2010 till date, and I've been part of the reform process that was undertaken during the last regime. And we have seen what needs to be improved, and we have improved on that. But we still know that there are certain areas that require further improvement. The most important area requiring further improvement is the issue of public understanding of the electoral processes. We need to involve the public more, educate them, and involve them more into our electoral process. Because from 2015, the last general elections, we realized the interactions with the public helped in delivering a credible election. So we need to improve more on our communications, our internal and external communications, so that the public could be aware of our the processes. We have to make them more transparent. They've been transparent, but we need to make them more transparent for everybody to understand the concept of election. And we need to utilize the services of our stakeholders, especially the National Orientation Agency, to inculcate certain values in the public so that we can have sane elections. We can reduce the incidences of thuggery and other malpractices in election. We also need to commence civic education in our schools so that democracy is built in right from the early years. We've realized this in countries we've visited, that democracy is being taught from the early years. By the time they become adults, they are well versed in the issue of democracy, and we can have continuous democracy without breakage. Another area of improvement is the issue of the internal processes. Our processes internally need to be more efficient, and that's the reason we've been deploying more and more technology into the electoral process, because it improves efficiency and brings about transparency in processes. I think that's much I can.
Biodo Olujimi, Ekiti South. Mr. President, in the light of the spirit of the moment, that there should be that this Senate, this distinguished Senate, is a gender-sensitive one, and the fact that Haji Amina Zakari has been here before and is on familiar terrain, I will crave your indulgence to ask the distinguished Senate to allow her to take a bow and leave. Thank you, Mr. President.
Yes, Zakari, you can come and take a bow.
Well, there you have it. Bow and go.